Hello listeners, welcome back to another episode of Raquel and Kelly Sports Talk Questions, and this is another week where we are going to change things up. We are not talking about any sport or learning about any sport this week. What we're going to do is have a fantastic conversation about making it to varsity sports. So I'm really pleased to say we have two guests with us representing Algoma U and Sioux College. We have Katie Hamilton, who is the women's basketball coach at Algoma University, and we have Brianne Chinook, who is the women's hockey coach at Sioux College. And I did a little investigative journalism of my own just to see what's going on at the varsity level in town. So Algoma University has 6 varsity sports. We've got men and women's basketball, we've got men and women's soccer, we've got wrestling, we've got curling, we've got cross-country running, and we have cross-country or Nordic skiing. And in total, there are 25 Sault Ste. Marie local athletes who are participating in varsity sports at Algoma University. So that's a great number. And then at Sioux College, they have hockey, of course, baseball, golf, curling, soccer, and some interesting ones are coming for Sioux College, football and women's volleyball. Very exciting. Oh. And when I looked up the numbers, we have 41 local Sault Ste. Marie students who are playing varsity sports at Sioux College. So I think that's awesome that we have 66 local athletes at our local schools. I don't know if we have any at Lake State. We're going to have that conversation later today. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our coaches introduce themselves, tell us how they got to be where they are, their history with their sport, and then we've got some questions for them. So Katie has offered to go first.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited about this show.
So how I got to where I am now, that might, how long do we have for this? Because that's
you're gonna keep it brief.
Okay. So I was born and raised here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, very proudly. I went to St. Basil's Secondary, a proud saint, noble when you go later, just make sure you remember that, St. Basil Saint. I then went and played my university basketball at the University of Prince Edward Island. I think the shortest way to describe this is people would probably explain my playing style as a coach first and player second when I was going through the system. So I don't think it was a shock to anybody that I wanted to pursue coaching at its highest level. My end goal was always to coach university sport. And so every kind of professional decision I made along the way had that in mind. Was super lucky to be given a ton of opportunities at a really, really young age. I was able to get in with our provincial team system, our national team system, was able to coach at Sioux College when I was 25, I think, was my first head coaching job. Eventually I landed at Nipissing University, where I was there for 6 years. Super awesome environment, super awesome campus, an athletic director that I'm forever grateful for. Thought I would be there forever, and then the world stopped. The thing called COVID and a pandemic happened, and I realized I was sitting in a city where friends, family, all of my environment and support system wasn't. So really had to dig deep and decide if I wanted to stay there or not. I had gone back to coach in the fall of the season after COVID. And then unfortunately my father passed away pretty unexpectedly, and so at Christmas of that season I made the choice to move home and called quits. And so I thought I was giving up my coaching career, thought I was done. I got a very random job for a very random tech company online. Don't know anything about the tech world, if anyone's wondering. And then December last year, my phone started going off, and I was wondering who was calling me because I didn't think I knew that many people. And it was when word had gotten out that there was a coaching change at Algoma and that the possibility existed for a coaching opportunity to come up. And obviously the questions of would I be interested. So sat on it for a little bit, and now I'm here. So pretty serendipitous story of how I ended up here. My father coached at Algoma. He won an NCAA silver medal with my previous high school head coach, who's now our assistant coach with us. So a family that's really intertwined with the university and really intertwined with the basketball community. So for me, this job and this position definitely runs deeper than just the sport.
That's awesome. And welcome back to Sault Ste. Marie.
Thank you very much.
That's great. All right, Brianne, how did you get to this position of coach of the women's hockey team at Sioux College?
Yeah, so first a little bit about my history with hockey. So local to Sault Ste. Marie as well, and I grew up playing boys hockey until grade 5 because there really wasn't a female league at that point. Then in grade 5, I switched over to the women's program that was created and played with a few years ahead of me, which is great now because some of them are on my staff with me as well. So I played with the women's rep program, which was the Wildcats at the time, now the Sioux Junior Greyhounds. And then I was fortunate enough to continue my career and my playing career at Brock University through TruHous Sports for 5 seasons. So I was an assistant captain there for 3 years, and similar to Katie, I always loved everything to do with coaching. I loved the communication side of it. I loved the community involvement, even more than what is happening on the ice. I was always the player that wasn't necessarily the most skilled player on our team, but whatever the coach wanted me to do, I would do it. So I was very coachable, and it gave me a lot of respect for how much they do. So I, like a lot of people in Sault Ste. Marie, never thought I would return home. I moved to Toronto. I had a position with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Toronto Marlies after doing an internship with them, and found myself back in Sault Ste. Marie. And it wasn't long after that I was playing Women's League and, just fell back in love with the game after taking a short period of time off. And I was an assistant coach with Sioux College, and after 1 season as the assistant coach, again, similar to Katie, there was a coaching change, and I landed the head coaching position. Not ready for it at that time. I was really looking forward to getting a few years under a strong head coaching role model for me, but you'll hear from our captain next, and the girls that came in really helped me to kind of teach me what I know, and I taught them what they know, so here I am.
Oh, wow. We are both institutions are very lucky to have you, and Sault Ste. Marie is definitely lucky to have you back.
We are going to jump right in to some questions. So we're looking at, the first question is, how do you recruit locally and provincially? So are you going into the high schools? Are you attending some high school games? How do you do it?
Yeah, so for me, I think this is something that has probably changed a lot over the course of my years. So this is my 15th season now, either as an assistant or a head coach at the post-secondary level. And back in the day, shall you say, I think you used to see a lot of coaches sitting in gyms over the course of a weekend for 72 hours and identifying players and doing it that way. That's changed a lot now. I think the world's a much smaller place via social media. And so now you don't necessarily need to physically be in that location to find that athlete. A lot of how I do my recruiting is through personal relationships that I have with people across the country in various basketball locations, and simply a phone call or a text of players that are available. I will say in the recruiting process, it's also super productive to be proactive in your own recruiting process and never be scared to reach out and connect to that coach or that school, because that oftentimes is also how we find players, right? We're not able to identify every player in every league across the country, so if you have a program of interest in mind, if you think you're a good fit for the program, then reaching out to myself or your respective coach in your respective sport is also helpful in the recruiting process. So I would say for me personally, my opinion is that recruiting's almost become easier in the sense that we have access to a lot more players now. It's not necessarily easier in the aspect of getting that player to commit, but to have them on the radar of it as an active recruit. That list has become much longer over the course of time.
Okay, that's so interesting, because I think I envisioned you sitting
I did.
in high school
Yeah.
gyms.
I'm too old for that now.
No,
Yeah.
I can't do it. When I was 25, I sat in a lot of gyms.
Yeah.
Now my back hurts when I do
No,
that. Yeah.
as a parent, my back hurts.
Yeah.
So you're welcoming of someone who maybe wants to go to Algoma and they're in, I don't know, New Brunswick, to shoot you an email or
Yeah, 100%.
and
So
say this is who I am, and
yeah, for
Yeah.
instance, like right now, our recruit class, we have 2 that are totally firmed up. We have a much longer list than that, but it's players from Quebec, from Regina, from Winnipeg, from Ontario, from the Maritimes, BC, so really totally across the country. And
Okay.
those have all either come on our radar by me reaching out to those relationships that I have, or vice versa, an athlete reaching out to me and
Okay.
me assessing what they've sent me and saying, hey, yeah, we do have interest in you, let's continue
Okay.
on this conversation.
Wow, so networking
Yeah.
is really key.
Networking is huge.
Yeah.
I think a key for me in coaching has been to be able to maintain positive relationships with people in the basketball community. And you don't want to burn any bridges in that regard, so that you're open to them sending you their players.
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So Brian, what does it look like for hockey?
Very similar. So if we are looking at local players, I typically do go to the rink. I sit there in the cold and I watch them, or one of my other coaches, whether it's our forward coach or defense coach, typically goes to a practice or a game. But similar to Katie, a lot of it is done online. So I actually have a scout that's out of the GTA, and I have another one that's out of Dryden. So we're covering a good area of Ontario. And then we have players from across the country. So we have them from Western Canada, Eastern Canada. So we do a lot of video game footage that we want to see from these players. And then once my scout looks over it, I kind of have the final conversation with them, with their parents, to kind of get more of the character side of them. I want to see what they're like and have a conversation with them to see if they would fit in the dressing room with us, not just their skill and being on the ice. And you know, our best scout are the girls in the dressing room. So a lot of players that reach out, yes, we 100% go to their coach, but then I'm asking some of my teammates that might have played with this player before, whether we're looking in Sudbury, down in the GTA, and they'll say a lot about those players, you know, and they're also really good at recruiting too. If they're having a good time, they want to make sure that they get some of their friends to come join us at Sioux College. So that's really important, because our current players know what it's like in the dressing room. They know what it's like outside of hockey. So they know what's going to work, what type of personality will work, and what might cause, you know, the bad word drama that we do not want.
Yes, it's hard to avoid the drama sometimes. So this actually leads really well into our next question. What are you looking for in a potential varsity athlete? Mentally, physically, and even I'll go into the next question and group this and say academically, because these are post-secondary students, so therefore education is part of this. So, and it doesn't need, like, we don't need, you know, like really long answers, even just a group of adjectives, but sort of mentally, physically, academically, what are you looking for in a varsity athlete?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, and I don't know if this will come as a shock or not, but the skill of the athlete is important. So for me right now, I'm searching out athletes that, you know, are of an OUA talent caliber. I coached with a coach once at Holland College. Mike Conley is an ingenious recruiter, and I used to try to pick his brain because he had a lot of success at post-secondary level. And he looked at me, and everyone called me Hammy back in the day. So he said, Hammy, you got to stop asking me these questions. 95% of the time, the team with the best players is the team that wins. Which there are other variables for that, for sure. There's mental toughness, there's attitude, there's personality, but at the end of the day, you do need the skill to be able to play at our level. So first and foremost is overall skill and talent. And then I think each coach has their preference of sort of what intangibles they're drawn to. For me, I like a very tough athlete. I like a kid that's willing to step in and take a charge and die for loose balls and be mentally and physically tough in that regard, kind of a scrapper. So as the intangible factor, that's sort of really what we're going for with this recruit class right now. And the role of academics is super important. We obviously don't want to set an athlete up for failure. So we want to try to get them into the best position possible, whichever program they're pursuing, and to make sure that the program of choice aligns with their goals. And it's always the first question that I ask every recruit is, obviously at 17 or 18, you don't know exactly what you want to do with your future, but if we don't have a program that aligns with some of your life goals, then I'm never going to convince an athlete to come and do otherwise. There's things that are more important than basketball and sport in life, and aligning your academic goals with your life pursuits is very important. So I think in regards to academics, that's the most important piece in my recruiting.
Okay, Brianne?
And I'll just kind of touch on that too. I find that, you know, if you're asking that athlete about a program that they're interested in and they say, you know, I'll take whatever you want me to take, odds are that athlete is going to end up on your ineligible form halfway through the year. So the academic side becomes very important when you see who is going to play with you the entire season. And that's different for every sport, whether it's U Sport, U Sport, OCAA, ACHA, which we're in. So that ends up being more important than the athletes think at the beginning of the day. For me, the very first thing that that helps me decide is who's emailing me. So is it the parent emailing me?
Don't do that. Don't email it to the parent. Athlete email.
I don't care if mom or dad is writing the email, but it needs to come from the athlete's email address. And that's it. Like, as soon as that first email gets sent out, I am now talking with the athlete, because if you're, I mean, they're an adult almost at this point, right? And if they cannot send me an email, even though I know that they are very capable of doing that, then they aren't ready for college or university. It's as simple as that. They aren't ready to handle the workload of school. They aren't ready to, juggle all of the things that it is being a varsity athlete. So yeah, other than that, same with Katie. Skill is obviously number one. That's why we're as successful as we are right now. But yeah, athletes, do not let your parents do anything with email.
That is an excellent piece of advice, parents.
I've taken note.
My parents, I mean Kelly.
We know you love your kids. We know that, but please don't.
No, I've dropped recruits off the list if in our first call the parent is on the call and they're the ones that are executing the communication.
Oh, okay.
I have dropped athletes from our list. If it's not the athlete and the student that is having the conversation with me in that initial call, then like you said, they're not ready to be playing at this level.
So you've said in that initial call, but there is a role for parents, is there not, in recruiting? Like, how far down the process are you meeting parents or talking to parents?
Yeah, so typically in my experience, the parent has come into play once the athlete has already made the decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and that is what I prefer.
Okay.
And so that way, then I chat with the parent. For me, and this isn't a question on the list, but for me, I'm super hands-off with parents. So I don't have any relationship with any parent in any realm, shape, or form. It just leads to not good things. So I don't want to say the parent is null and void. That's not true. I know they're very influential and very important to the athlete, but my interaction is with the child.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit different. So I do allow the parent to come on the call that I have with them, where I'm essentially signing the athlete, because I want to make sure that all of the questions about financial side of things and everything like that is just answered. And that's just from a background in recruiting schools, like at school, not or academically, not through sports. So I just want to get all of the answers kind of laid out there. But similar to Katie, we actually have a contract with our players, and one of the items on there is that the parent will not contact any of the coaching staff. And the person that, that falls on is the athlete at the end of the day. If a parent is reaching out, that's the one joy of coaching at this level, is we do not have to engage with the parents, because they can't see the grades of their student or their adult, because they're not children anymore. So we're not going to allow them to determine ice time. So yeah, that's one thing that is huge for us as well.
So when you were talking in your introduction, Brienne, you talked about someone being coachable. What does that mean to you?
So some athletes might think that coaches have favorites. Oh, that bothers me. And the main thing is they're coachable, right? So this is someone that that they're listening, they're paying attention to you. They aren't someone that you constantly have to remind about doing something in practice. They're, you tell them something and they go out and do it, right? I have some players that, again, they might not be the most skilled on the team, but that they are trying their very best, right? And maybe they're a second line, third line, fourth line player, but you're going to get their full effort all of the time. Versus someone that might be really skilled, they're set in their ways, they aren't coachable, right? Because it doesn't matter your skill level. Sometimes they're really skilled players and they make me bite my tongue a lot.
Yep.
So that's something really big
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
Good. And just because we've all seen movies and different things about how kids are recruited, what role does social media play? Like, are you looking at their social media accounts? Are you looking to see kind of what they're posting? Something I recently read said that if they're posting more about their friends doing well in sports than themselves doing well in sports, that's important to a recruiter. Just different things.
Yeah, I think it's super important in different realms. I think it's super important to be able to connect with the athlete that way and find them. So I do use social media a lot, to sell our program, to sell myself, to sell the vision, to sell the community as a whole. And then for the athlete to sell themselves and what they have to offer. I will say it's super important if you do intend to pursue this at the next level and go through the recruitment process to make sure that social media is clean.
Yeah.
Because I have definitely dropped people off of the list of potentials
Okay.
based off of what I'm seeing on their social media because again, if that's happening, they're going to be a problem within the realm of our team.
Right.
So I have definitely dropped people, and I have definitely made it a point to go through social media first because it does give a vision of what that athlete is.
Yeah, if you don't want your parents to see it, don't post it because coach
Yeah.
might hate it even more.
Well, and how I word it all the time
I
is
agree.
if a 8-year-old girl in the community is in the gym that looks up to you, if it's something that they shouldn't be seeing, then it should not be on there.
It should, yeah.
Because you are that person to the community.
Yeah,
So
that's a really
kind
good
of
way of
the
looking at it
great
too.
way to
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
So we're running out of time. I can't believe this. But I do want to ask about athletic scholarships at Ontario University and colleges. I know in the States, like they use that expression full ride, right? And it's very different in the States, and it's very different how it's presented, I think, in media and on TV shows and movies. But how do athletic scholarships work in Ontario?
Yeah, so there's an individual max and then a team max that you can give within university realm. And there is a little bit of things offset. So for every academic All-Canadian you have, so that's an 80% or higher, there is some offset to the limit that you have. So if you have, say 10 academic All-Canadians on your team, then you can go above and beyond the marker, the max. You can go above and beyond that by those 10 academic All-Canadians. So there is that individual and team max. I will say that it's been increased continuously over the years. So now it is a pretty fair, substantial amount to offset some costs. I would like to see it get to full tuition and fees if anybody is listening that wants to make that decision. I don't think we're going to get there in the only way, but we have gone in the really right direction.
So but it's based on grades.
No, it is not based on grades. So formerly, up until this season, up until this coming season, you had to have a 70 as an incoming athlete to qualify for an athletic scholarship, and you had to maintain a 70 to keep it. They have now switched it to as long as you've been admitted into the university, you can receive an academic scholarship, or an athletic scholarship, my apologies. In order to maintain it, you still need to maintain that 70.
Okay.
So anyone getting in can have access to an athletic scholarship. In order to keep it, you need to have your average out of 70.
Okay, and is that
So
different? Or it's
my answer is very simple. So for the ACHA, so American Collegiate Hockey Association, we cannot give any scholarship for athletics. So yeah,
Really? That
yeah,
was a plot twist.
everyone, yeah. So OCAA for curling, baseball, soccer, that's different, and I won't speak to that because I'm not coaching it and don't have all of the knowledge in that. But yeah, for us, there's no academic or athletic scholarship that we can give, so it's all based on academics. So it's the same as anyone that's coming to Sioux College that wants to get an entrance scholarship. So how we really market ourselves is we're the only Ontario hockey team for a college that has a team. Sorry, so that was a weird way of saying it. So we're the only college in Ontario that has a hockey team. So that's why we actually play in the ACHA, because we have no one else to play against here. Yeah, so U Sport and the OUA is above us, right? And that's through the universities. So Sioux College was given this really good opportunity of playing in the States. We played Notre Dame, Michigan State, a bunch of, really cool arenas that we get to go to play. And have had a lot of success. So our main tool is going to be the college route for a lot of players, right? So one of our leading scorers is in metal fabrication. She was never planning on going to university. So that's where the academic side for us does play a pretty big role, especially with programs like that, the trades, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So having that, but in a college setting, so smaller classrooms. So those are the type of recruiting things that we have to focus on because we can't give money, and we're trying to, compete against other universities, even in the States once you get into the NCAA D3 program. On a positive side, our college has been amazing, and we are fully funded through the athletic department. So our girls receive meal money on the weekends, and all of their travel, all of their swag that they have, everything like that is completely covered by us. So, we're heading to nationals in St. Louis for a week next week, and, they'll make money by coming along for the trip. So that's how we're able to do it, which we're really fortunate our athletic department and the college as a whole is able to do that for us.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow. Yeah. So we're out of time.
We've surpassed our time, and I still have 80 questions.
Yeah, I know, because you know what, it's never enough time. This is what we've learned, is that the minute you start to learn, there's more things to learn. Right?
And there's 4 women here, so we're bound to talk way too much.
A lot of great things to say.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for giving us some time, and a huge thank you to the dedication that you give to your teams. It is a lot. It is a lot. It's a huge role, and it's really important, and you guys are great role models for our female athletes, locally, nationally. It's wonderful. Keep up the great work, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're back with our athletes, and today we are joined by Ashlyn Noble from Algoma University and MP LaCour from Sioux College. And they're going to talk to us a little bit about how they got to where they are today. And I believe, Ashlyn, you're going first.
Yep. So my name's Ashlyn, and I just finished my first year as an Algoma Thunderbird on the basketball team. So how I got into basketball, I actually didn't start off playing basketball. I was shockingly a competitive dancer, but being under 2 very athletic parents and motivators, they asked me if I wanted to keep dancing or do anything else, so I chose anything else. So then I started playing literally every sport possible, which I eventually started playing basketball in about grade 3, I believe, and I started actually at the local YMCA place, which is every Saturday at the Y, which was there's a lot of kids that played there. It was really fun. I loved it. So then I also started doing other programs locally, such as small ball and stuff. So my growth expanded. Then I started going out of town every summer to called Camp Olympia. It's near Huntsville, Ontario, and it's a sports-specific camp. So they have literally every sport possible, and each week different themes, and there's so many things to do there. But I focus specifically on basketball. So I got to work one-on-one with different university coaches, which was really cool, introducing me more to the sport, which I really started to love it then. And then in about grade 6, I first had met Coach Ryan, Coach Clay, and Coach Krissa, in which I joined the Junior Thunderbirds rep team or developmental team at the time. And again, my love for the game really developed from there. And then I just played elementary basketball at Holy Cross, and then I went to St. Mary's, best school. Just kidding. But I went there and I played 3 years of high school basketball there. And then, that's how my journey went for basketball.
And then you were recruited to Algoma U?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. All right, so MP, tell us how you got started in hockey.
So I'm from the Sioux, and I started off also dancing, which is horrible. And then I was playing soccer and stuff, and my cousins all played hockey growing up. My cousin won the TELUS Cup in 2008, and I would not take a picture with him there. Hockey smelled horrible, didn't want to play. My parents kept asking me, and I said no until grade 2, I think I started in, and then I started playing. I played house league, and then I started in the Wildcat program, and then my last year was the Sioux Junior Greyhound Girls, and then then I played for Sioux College. Now this is my 3rd year, and we're going to nationals again. So
That's wonderful. And you guys won nationals last year, right?
Yeah,
So that was a big deal.
So we went first year in St. Louis, and then last year in Boston we won. Now we're going again in St. Louis this year.
All right.
Wow.
So both of you have very long histories with your sports. Kelly and I love small ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, small ball. That's how our boys started basketball. And the Y too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great we have so many great programs for kids
Really
really in our
good, yeah.
city. It's lovely when people take advantage of them. So my question for both of you is, what was the scouting or recruiting process like for you in your sports? Either one of you can go first because we want to hear from both of you.
I can go first again. So, kind of like they were saying too, like it's more like electronically and stuff like that. I mean, being at home and local and already knowing like Coach Ryan and stuff, because he's the one who recruited me to Algoma. Again, they were, for the past couple of years, especially in high school, they would like focus on sport specific, again, developing to their style of play and for their team. So again, he already had like formally had a conversation with me like grade 11, like that he wants to recruit me. So that was already kind of like to my advantage. And then in addition to that, like again, like what we said earlier about like social media and just electronically, so like connecting to the coaches through like emails or like social media as well, and just reaching them out to them, sending them like game film, or even just like asking them to come to like when we had tournaments for like high school or rep, I would go and like ask them to come watch my games and stuff. So that's pretty much how my recruiting process went.
And did you have scouts or recruits from other schools?
My main other one was actually Nipissing University.
Nipissing?
Yeah,
Okay.
so she had reached out to me really early in grade 12.
And was
as
it the
well.
same process online?
Yeah, that was more online. She came to some of my games as well, and then she connected me with other players on the teams,
Oh, okay.
talking about like programs and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
MP?
Mine's pretty different than what Bree explained, because the program has like come a long way since then. 4 years ago that I signed now. But the coach at the time came to a few of our games and reached out to some of the players that he was interested in. And that was pretty much it. I had a conversation with the general manager, and I ended up like signing a few weeks later.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to play my first year though because of COVID, so then I ended up
okay.
having to wait a year, but yeah.
Okay. Were you impacted by COVID?
Yeah, it had been my grade 10 year.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Yeah.
why you said you only played 3
3
years.
years.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and that
wondered
year I
that,
actually
yeah.
tore my ACL, so it was like perfect
Oh.
timing to like recover and get
Right,
Yeah.
nobody played.
No, exactly, yeah.
Okay, what has surprised you about being a university or college varsity athlete compared to a high school athlete?
I can go first this
Okay.
time. Okay, so probably the like having to balance everything, like school. Obviously, like the jump from high school to university or college is like I don't think anyone's expecting it, and that first semester is extremely hard to just learn how to balance your practices. You have your workouts, your away tournaments, and just like making sure that you're making lists and checking everything off, and just making time also for your mental health as well.
Yeah.
I can agree with that too, just because again, from being like my first year, like definitely the first semester was definitely not what I expected, from like just academically too, and athletically too, just the more demanding of it. Other things that like surprised me, just like again, like skill level and like commitment, like again, coming from high school, like not everyone's like their number one sport priority is basketball, or like they're super driven to it. So it's like cool and like different that everyone's like driven at the same, like wants the same end goal as you, and like everyone competes at the same skill level, which is pretty cool. So
What do practices look like? So you talked a lot about juggling your own schedule and instantly becoming an adult, sort of, right? Are you practicing every day? Is it hours in the arena or on the court? Like,
Yeah, so we have 2 practices a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, an hour and a
okay.
half each. And then on Mondays, we have spin class. And on Wednesdays, we have workouts. And then we're
Okay.
usually on the road like Fridays and Saturdays. So we're like always together, always
so every
either-
day you're committed
Yeah.
to your sport
Yeah.
in some way?
Yeah, and then we also have like study hall that we have to attend
Oh,
once a week,
okay.
which is good to we have our like student success coach, I guess, that comes to check in as well, which is nice to
Okay,
make sure we're fitting in everything.
I like that.
So we practice like Monday to Friday, and then we practice 2 hours per day, or like an hour and a half mostly. And then we also have workouts like Monday and Wednesday mornings, and then depending on the type of season, Fridays. But if we have games on the weekend, usually we'll practice like Monday to Wednesday, and then we'll leave Thursday and then have Saturday or Sunday off as our off day.
It is a very
It's
big commitment.
yeah.
And to balance academics, right? And all of it. It is a lot. It's a lot. So that actually goes to the next, to one of the other questions, which is how do you balance it all? Because not everybody does. Not
Yeah.
everybody does it well. Yeah, so what do you do to try and get everything in, keep your mental health okay, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance everything?
So we always have, obviously, in the back of our head that if we don't reach that certain like GPA, that we're not playing. So like making sure that you're getting all your school stuff done is huge. But like I remember we had a player meeting last year, and I sat down. I was like so overwhelmed. Like it was during midterm time. I was just so overwhelmed with everything. And like Bree told me, well, like, do you have a calendar? Do you have all your stuff written down? And it was like September, October at the time. I was like, yeah, but my calendar still says January. So like making sure that you're like writing all your stuff down and like lists, like to-do lists all the time, and just making time for like obviously like time with your friends and mental health stuff too. But yeah, just making sure that you're writing down everything you have to do that week, and keeping in mind like, okay, I know I have practice now, so I have to. Like we know what we have, so we just have to plan for it ahead of time, I guess. Which first year to second year, like once you have first semester down, you know your routine, you know what you have to do. It gets a lot easier. And just having even like the first year girls will ask us like you can tell that they're struggling, but like they'll ask us, how do you do this? And it's good to have other people around too that have been through the same process. Even our coaches have been through it, so they understand as well.
Yeah. Ashlyn, what do you do to balance it all?
Like she said, like a calendar. I never thought I'd make a calendar in my day, but I had to, just to like know again like what like weeks ahead what I have done. Just check it off, which is a really big help. And then also considering we're from the Sioux and we travel like 7 hours for each thing, there's a lot of time like either in the bus or like waiting at the airports to get a lot done. So instead of like, I try and get a lot of academically done. That way it's like, and we have a lot of time too before like the games. Will have usually 2 hours that like on that day get work done, so it's nice too. So again, it's like helping balance like both, the best both worlds. And then also I would say being like locally at home, like you don't have to worry about like the little things your parents do, like laundry or just making dinner and stuff. So that also gives you more time to like just balance life again, like socially and academically. You can kind of get a best of both worlds. So
It doesn't come easy though.
no.
You have to work at being organized, right? And the minute it starts to sort of fall apart,
Oh
it
yeah,
can be really challenging to get
definitely
it back.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah, so good for both of you.
My calendar is still in October though, just so you know.
I have to ask about these calendars. Are they pen on paper or are they electronic?
I have one on electronic. Like if it's certain things, I have to like get a notification because I'll be too scared if I miss it. Or I have like a whiteboard in my room, so that way I just update it. Yeah.
I have a whiteboard, but for all of our hockey stuff, like Bree keeps us on our toes with our app. Everything's in the app, and you have to.
Yeah.
Nice. What advice would you guys give to someone who has dreams of making it to varsity?
Again, just like kind of like working hard. Pick things that are like suited to you. So I would like, as being a high school like person that played basketball, like I didn't really get the opportunity to play like prep and jewel and stuff, like, but I definitely would recommend that too. Or like even like a rep team, just so like the more game exposure, like that way you can like, again, like push yourself and stuff. And then that's just more recruitment exposure too as well. So, and that's what they're like looking for. Like you get like games, like especially the high school basketball, it's only like 9 weeks long. So you have a lot of off time. So again, being fortunate that I got to train a lot in the off season with like Thunderbird coaches, which was nice, but some people don't have that opportunity. So definitely just looking at more organizations or just, again, like games. That's it.
I would say definitely reaching out, like making it known that you want to play so that you can get that process like early on started. like Bree said, getting your coach, like, so that they can get to know you and understand that you, like, really want it. That just makes it, like, easier for them, and it makes it seem like it shows how much you want to play.
Okay. Do you guys, this might be a personal question, but do you guys find that it's different to have friends who are also playing varsity sports and friends who don't? And how do you make that balance? Because you're very much committed to your sport.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot different being from the Sioux, because we're playing, like, our friends we have in-town friends as well, and all the girls coming in, they're making friends with all the girls on the team. They don't have that outside connection. So for us, it's like balancing, like, okay, now I'm going to go see my friends that are from here, like my local friends. Now I'm going to see my hockey friends, just making time for everything.
For everybody, yeah.
Which can be hard, and then, like, sometimes mixing those friends is hard too. Like, I've been fortunate that all of my friends have been getting along. Like, some of my Sioux friends hang out with the girls on the hockey team now, which is,
Yeah, I would say the same thing too. Just again, like about when I said earlier about being local, again, you have time to balance both like academics and social aspects. So I would say, yeah, like I definitely have two different areas, but it's easier to balance, again, being local, because a lot of my friends did stay home. Like I find a lot of athletes or just even students have been staying home in the recent years. So like I know tons of people that even went to Sioux College, so a lot of my friends stayed. So again, just even balancing that out or going to support them as they come and support me as other athletes. So
I think it's nice also to have the fact that we're such a like close group on the team. Like we understand we understand what the others are going through, that we have class now, we're going on the road, just understanding like what struggles we're all going through together, and having each other push each other through it, I guess, is really good.
Yeah.
That's great. Now that you're a varsity athlete and playing at a much higher competitive level, has it changed how you play the sport?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of them like immediately nodded their head yes, so fast.
So when I signed with the college, it was after my season had already ended, my last season, so I don't think I was expecting to like play, let alone get like so much better than I did before, just like growing that confidence, and not only the like on ice stuff, but just like honestly learning like life lessons, like how to manage your time and just like how to push through certain things. I think I don't think I was expecting to get all of these experiences that I'm getting playing this varsity sport, and obviously it's at a much higher level than when we were playing like high school or just local, I guess.
Yeah. There's definitely like big changes. I say like I'm from like high school and to, like just even the physical aspect of it, like because of COVID and like injuries and stuff, like there's a big age gap, not even just like 4 years, but I'm pretty sure there's like girls that were 6 and 8 years like of eligibility, which is pretty crazy. But again, they're just more experienced and physical, so they're definitely having to like adapt to that and stuff. But yeah.
Okay, we are almost out of time, and what we like to do with our athletes is end with a shout out to somebody that has supported you in your sport, and it can absolutely be more than one person. It could be a coach,
and it could be anyone.
It could be anybody you want. So either one of you can go first. Who would you give a shout out to? Who supported you?
I just have a couple people. I would say like first off my parents, because they're just like they're always dedicated towards me. Like they try and go to like my out of town games too, as well as my in town games. If not, they're like the first to be on the OUA TV app, like waiting to watch the game. And I'm like, it's not another 2 hours, like you got lots of time. But yeah, they're always supporting me, again, just doing the little things. And then just all of my coaches that I've had, like, again, like the men's coaches on the Algoma Thunderbirds, my high school coaches, and then even Coach Katie helping me with my first successful like rookie year. Just all of them like pushing me, developing me into the player I am.
Awesome. MP, what about you?
I would say the same. Obviously, my parents, my dad. My parents are always the loudest at the rink. My dad's in the corner with the puck. My mom has made like dinners for every single girl on the team every week. But I think that Bree has like done so much for not only our team, like she's built the program, but also just like female hockey in the community with like Northern Elite. Like I don't think I expected to be able to like coach younger girls, and I think that's something I've learned that I really want to do. So yeah, Bree, thank you for that.
That's awesome, because Bree's still sitting here.
Yeah.
And so is Coach Katie, so that was pretty great. All right, that concludes our section. I can't believe, as always, we're running out of time.
We could have spent another hour with you guys.
Yeah. We're really happy that You had a good first season, Ashlyn, and MP, your season is not quite done. The big one's coming, right? So I wish you guys great success, especially after last year,
Yeah,
right?
thank
you. Guys set the bar really high at Sioux College. Anyway, best of luck finishing up academically, right? You know, I think education matters because I work at Algoma U. So yeah, I wish you guys the best and hope for a very successful next year. Right?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
bye. All right, we're on to our next segment of our varsity show, and we're excited to have some guests with us. We have Camden O'Neill, who has committed to LSSU, Lake State, for hockey. And we've asked Camden's mom, Jamie-Lynn, to join us so we could have a parent perspective. And so we were just recently chatting with our Algoma U coach, our Sioux College coach, and so it's really nice to bring in somebody from Lake State to bring in that perspective, especially because we do have a lot of our students that go to Lake State. I have no idea if we have a lot of varsity athletes at Lake State that are from the Sioux. That I don't know, but at the same time, we could. We don't know.
We could.
We don't know. Kelly and I don't know anything, right? That's the theme of the show. So Camden, I'm going to get you to just introduce yourself and tell us your history with the sport of hockey and sort of what led you to where you are now.
Alrighty. I'm Camden O'Neill. I started playing hockey when I was younger, 4 years old, played Timbits hockey. I played AAA since 2016, and I now play for the Sioux Thunderbirds, Junior A. So, yeah, I've always loved hockey, and I grew up loving the sport and just wanted to get better. And it's been a journey up to this point, and it's only the start. So, I'm
Okay,
looking
and
forward to the future.
I have to admit, I don't know what position you play. Are you defense?
I'm a defenseman, yes.
Okay. I was right. Look at me. Learning some things.
Oh my goodness. So we're going to jump right into some questions if that's okay with you.
Yep.
Can you let us know what the scouting and recruiting process from LSSU was for you here as a local athlete?
Yeah, for sure. So it all started last year during the playoffs. That was our first interaction with them, and they introduced themselves. They told us a little bit about the program and their interest and stuff. But it was more during the summer when they started to express more interest, and they contacted me, and they've been staying in touch ever since. And ever since that day, they got more and more interested with me, and eventually we went and had a couple visits, like official visits. So we did one during the summer, and then we were able to experience a game. So they provided tickets for me and my family, and I got the privilege to go in the dressing room, and during one of their games, I was able to go on the bench for warm-ups and stuff, and just interact with the coaches and coaching staff and meet everyone, and it was a really cool experience. And they gave me a roster sheet, and they were telling me all about the players, and it was just really cool just to get familiarize myself with sort of just like everything about Lake State hockey. And to be honest, it was just, I was really impressed. It seems like just a professional environment, and yeah.
So when they came to talk to you, did you know they were at that game? Like, do you know when scouts are at a game?
No. I mean, obviously you'll know, like, for example, for bigger tournaments, you know there's going to be people watching. But you never know when people are watching, and that's the saying. So it's just a matter of, like, doing your best all the time.
Every game.
Because, like people say, you never know who's watching.
It's true.
So it's important that you give it your all.
So the first time that somebody connected with you from Lake State,
Yep.
was it physically at a game? Was it like a coach or someone came up to you at the game?
So it was
to introduce
it was actually the head coach and the assistant coach, and they approached me and a couple other guys on their team who they were scouting out, and it was right before one of our games actually. So it was brief, but they got their message across, and just they expressed their interest, and from there on, and we sort of gained a relationship, I guess you could say, and yeah.
Did that make you nervous going into that game when they talked to you before the game?
I mean, not really, because at the end of the day, when you're going into a game, you got nothing else on your mind than winning the game and doing your best, and you want to perform, and obviously you want to help the team win. So
Yep.
at the end of the day, you just put that stuff in the back of your mind. Obviously, you're going to think about it when you're on the bench or whatever, like oh man, I want to do better next
Yeah.
shift, or it's always just that next shift mentality. So
You have a pretty good ability to just
Yeah.
block the noise out
Yeah.
and concentrate
you
on.
just
That's
got to
awesome,
focus on
yeah.
yourself and focus on the team and help the team win. And we ended up winning that game, so I felt pretty good overall. And obviously played a good game, so just let the results go from there.
All right, so we're
Awesome.
joined with Camden's mom, Jamie-Lynn O'Neill. So we wanted to find out, sort of from the parent perspective, what was the scouting process like on your end?
Again, it mostly focused on him. I happened to be there prior to the game, and I saw the developings and going up into the room kind of thing. And he hadn't said anything if I didn't kind of question him afterwards. And he just said that Lake State was there, and they expressed their interest, etc. From there, it continued where the coach gave our contact information, and we had a phone conversation with the coach, same thing, basically describing the program to us and that they were interested in Camden and they would love to have him come over in the summertime and visit the campus and whatever. So they basically waited till the end of summer, right before their season started, actually, probably the week before. They had us over and we toured, obviously, the arena and their facilities and then the actual campus and brought back memories because both Michael and I went to Lake State as alumni, so that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we saw, the upgrades and different programming and things that, this building, that building, and whatever. And then from there, again, they were really great at kind of pursuing him and keeping in contact with him and invited us over. If we had any questions, they always said, shoot us a text, shoot us an email. We're happy to answer them. But most of the contact was with him until we were in person, and then I had my hammer of questions and trying to understand and whatever. So yeah, it was excellent. It was good.
Awesome. Camden, can you explain to us the D1, D2, D3, D8? I don't even know. Can you explain that? Because we've all seen movies where everybody wants to go and play in the D1
And
schools.
it's so different from Canada.
We don't, and Raquel and I don't know.
And we don't know.
I could try my best. So I guess I could relate it to minor hockey. So D1 would be like your AAA, where it's the highest level.
Oh, okay.
It's the most competitive. It's like I said, the highest level of all of U.S. University sports. Larger schools, they have a bigger athletic budget and stuff, so you're gonna find all of the larger schools in America. They're gonna have most likely they're gonna have better equipment, I guess. And then D2 is a little less popular, and then D3 it would be considered as like your AA or A.
Okay.
I guess if you
Okay.
like relating it to minor hockey, obviously it's still elite programs and they have every accessory or anything you need to be a hockey player and perhaps to get to the next level. But yeah, no, they have experience, or like they have experienced coaching staffs, and it might be a little bit more like academically biased. I might say
It's a little bit more well balanced,
Yeah.
I think. Whereas D1 is obviously academics are important, but it's like
the
eat,
sport.
sleep, breathe the
Yeah.
sport, and academics are worked into their schedule and their day. But I think D3, it's a little bit more well balanced. You would get more of an overall university experience and play the sport, but still live the college life, etc.
Okay. And so Lake State is a D1 school?
Yep.
Okay, for hockey?
Yes.
But does it mean that every sport they do is
No.
D1?
No.
So it doesn't have to be the same at an institution, it's different by sport at an
Yes.
institution, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Already I've learned something.
Yeah.
Okay, so Camden, what factors played in your decision to commit to Lake State?
I mean, obviously, like going on the tours. First off, the coaching staff. I have nothing good things to say about them. They showed me the ropes of Lake State. They're just nice human beings, and they're genuine people. They're very humble, and they're knowledgeable also. Touring the facilities, obviously they're elite. They have everything you need. They got weight rooms, they got ice tub, saunas, their locker room they just redid, dry lockers, like they got everything you need to get to the next level. They have pretty much ice time whenever you need it, whenever you're not in class. Obviously academics are a big part of being an athlete going to school, but whenever you need to put in that extra work for your sport, then it's pretty much at your fingertips. And then just going on the campus, like going back to the coaching staff, like the head coach, Damon Witten, he brought us on the tour, and he was just, you could just tell, like he knew everyone. He was so friendly to everyone. Like we're going into the libraries, like he's saying hello to people. He's like shaking their hands. Like he's just such a nice guy, and that really struck me. And then at the end of the day, it's all about how you feel. And after the tour, sat down with my family. They asked me, "What do you think?" And I said, I think I might want to be a Laker. And that's what I did. So obviously it's not official yet, but right now that's the path I think I'm looking to take. And yeah.
After your tours and after they've reached out to you, is it intense to the point where they give you, like, you have 24 hours to let us know?
No.
Is there any pressure?
You have as long as you need.
Okay.
For me, it was a quick turnaround. After they offered, it was after the game, we went up into the room and they offered a full ride scholarship. So obviously in the moment I was almost starstruck, and it was like
Wow.
you don't really know what to think at that point, and you're sort of just like at a loss for words, and you're just grateful for the opportunity that you have that offer on the table. And then so we went home, woke up the next day, and then we talked it over, and I was like, I'm doing this. So
Nice.
I texted the coaches, we met up again, and that's when I broke the news that this is the route that I wanted to go, and they were thrilled to hear that, and I'm looking forward to the future.
That's great. That does lead into a question we have for Jamie-Lynn, which is, in general, what have you learned about how U.S. scholarships work for athletics? Because there's different levels. I do know that, but it's not quite the same as Canada.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what the Canadian scholarship level is, because I focus on
Right.
Yeah.
So what did you learn?
So they have both academic and athletic, obviously. There's only a certain number of scholarships that they have. They kind of have like a cap. Some can be 100% athletic, some can be 100% academic. They would kind of balance it out here and there, depending within their range. Definitely there's timelines with the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association. I use it all the time, and I'm like forgetting the actual meaning of it all. But there's very strict guidelines and rules. So for example, he has to wait until he's in his grade 12 year, and then they have signing periods before anything. So it's called a letter of intent. So right now, it is a verbal commitment. It's a gentleman's handshake that this is their offer, and Canada's intending to take them up on it. Come next November, if that's still the path that he wants to take, which I'm pretty sure it is, then there'll be a letter of intent, and that's where documentation comes in and stuff like that. So he was offered a full athletic scholarship, even though his grades are great. I'm hoping that continues, and they do have to maintain. Once they do sign, they do have to maintain.
That was my next question.
I was going to ask a question about, so once they're offering you whatever offer they want to, they've already looked at your grades. They already know you're going to get into the program of your choice. They already know.
We had to submit transcripts
Okay.
and things from the school. Yeah. Because obviously they're interested in his hockey ability and how he could play and how he could fit into their program, but as far as a student as well.
Yeah.
So ultimately they could have said, okay, we could offer you a 60% athletic and 40 academic. Just depends on their ratio and their numbers and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you have to choose a program yet, Camden?
No. So
Okay.
I'm still figuring it out.
Right.
I have a little bit of time, so I'm just leaving my options open, taking classes that maybe I want to pursue, and come
Well,
come
the other
time
thing
to
is too.
choose and
Sorry, buddy.
no, it's all good.
The other thing that I'm still trying to understand is they don't start as true freshmen. So as far as hockey goes, I don't know if it's with other sports also. So for example, he'll be in grade 12 next year, and then, going into university as a still 17-year-old turning 18 kind of thing. He wouldn't go and play for Lake State that following year. As far as university goes, or U.S. university goes, their entry level is around when they're 19 or 20. So they don't start as true freshmen,
So
as
what
they
do
call
you
them.
Well,
do?
you can.
You can.
technically.
I mean, if you're like totally elite and capable of playing at that level. Not saying that Camden's not, but literally we're watching these men play hockey. So they really want them to be over ready. So the process, which we're still trying to figure out how that's going to go. Does he play another year of junior A? Does he go to another league within Canada or the US? We have a local gentleman who will be going there next year, Adam Barone, who has played this year in the BCHL and then comes back. So it's still quite a process. So it's not like he's got grade 12 and then he's going to Lake State and he's playing.
Okay.
We've probably got at least 2 years for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Before
that
that
is very
happens.
different from Ontario. Because
Very
if
much
you
so.
are going to, well, we don't have hockey at Algoma U, but that's whatever. You would start playing immediately.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, so
And
that's
that
a
was
little
hard for me to
different process.
understand.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
a different
it's still
process.
kind of tricky, and I was asking all the questions and writing it down. But yeah, that's I think the biggest thing, a lot of people think, oh, he's going to be there in 2 years. We're like,
But he's not.
Maybe
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that change your mind at all?
Not really.
No?
I mean, obviously, you just gotta trust the process, and
Yeah.
everyone has a different path. Everyone's gonna go through something. So, obviously, my mind is almost made up. So, I'm just gonna stick with it and trust the process.
Okay, so I have to I'm trying to get my mind around this. So if you graduate from grade 12 here and you
Yep.
go to Lake State
Yep.
and you have a program that you've now chosen,
Yep.
right? And you're in your program, you wouldn't play on the hockey team, but would you still be practicing with them? Are you still
He
like,
he would probably be playing somewhere else. So
Oh, I
he
see,
wouldn't
okay.
he wouldn't start necessarily at Lake State. So if he was in the Ontario Junior Hockey League, or if he
Right,
did go
okay.
and play in the BCHL Hockey League, most likely would be taking like online university courses
okay.
up until
Playing
he's
somewhere
ready.
else.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's really different from Ontario.
Yes.
Oh, see, look at
us.
the stuff that we learn. Oh my gosh.
So, Cannon, what advice would you give to someone who has the same dreams of you as you, playing varsity, playing past high school and the club sports?
I mean, for me, my biggest thing was just to stay true to who you are. Not trying to, like, for me as a hockey player, not trying to be someone I'm not.
Right.
Like knowing, for example, if someone's watching, not trying to change my game, not trying to make plays that I wouldn't do
Okay.
on a normal occasion. Just like I said earlier, just trust the process. Everyone has
Yeah.
a different path. Everyone's gonna hit different bumps in the road. Everyone is gonna have different obstacles that they have to overcome, and it's just doing your best, getting 1% better every day, as some of my coaches like to say. So just going out there, we're giving it your all during practice, doing it during everything, during your workouts, during everything, just pushing yourself to be better. And for me as a competitive person, like when I see someone next beside me, I want to be better than them.
Okay.
So I have that
Yeah.
mindset whenever I'm doing anything. It's always just, I want to be better than the person beside me. I want to be better than the person up in the ladder, just to make myself successful. Because at the end of the day, when you look back, you could say, I did that.
Yeah.
I climbed the ladder. I overcame these obstacles, and it's just, it's just trusting the process, believing in yourself. That's probably one of the biggest things too. There's going to be times where you're fatigued or whatever,
No fatigue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
all right.
can-
Yeah.
you have a bad game.
Exhausted.
fatigued,
Yeah.
You get
exhausted.
frustrated.
You could get,
Yeah.
the coach might yell at you or whatever, but it's like mental strength, it's physical strength, it's everything. Just having the mindset that you can overcome it and you will overcome it. And so anyone that wants to play varsity sports, it's just a matter of putting your head down and grinding. So
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it about hockey that you love compared to other sports? Because you are a good athlete in lots of sports, and I know there was a time you played some high school football. And right, what is it about hockey?
I mean, I love all sports. Like if I could, I'd be playing every high school sport there is. But reality is, when it comes down to it, you can only play one. Or I just love the fast pace. I love the competitive game. There's a competitive atmosphere. Like, people want to get better. People around you are there to support you. You know, if you're down one day, playing a team sport, you know, your teammates are there to pick you up. And that's one of the biggest things, is like when you're playing hockey during the season, with your teammates, you become brothers. And that's one of the biggest things. You become brothers, and you go to war pretty much every day. You know, you might have times where you almost want to fight the guy next to you in practice, or there's some times, but at the end of the day, you all just want to win. You all just want to get better, and that's one of the biggest things I love about hockey. Is just everyone wants to get better. Everyone's there to push you and make you better, and iron sharpens iron. So hockey I find is a way to push me to be a better person on and off the ice. So
nice. That's it. I'm ready to get my skates on.
Oh dear.
Okay, so Jamie-Lynn, what would be your advice that you would give to parents who have kids that are thinking about varsity, that, you know, are showing like that real dedication and love for any sport? It doesn't need to be hockey.
No,
any sport at all.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to parents on this path?
I think number one is just to keep them grounded. You know, they push, they want to get better. I get that, and it's not necessarily in a cocky sense. It's just, you know, they're trying to improve themselves day in and day out. You have a great game, they might put themselves on a pedestal, and Mike and I have always kind of knocked him right off and said, oh yeah, like, you know, just keep your head in down, your feet on the ground, not your head in the clouds, kind of thing. Keep yourself educated as parents, and I think that's the trickiest part, especially whether it was being drafted into the OHL or, you know, being offered an NCAA scholarship, keeping all of his doors open. You know, all this kind of happened as a 15-year-old. He's looking to us for advice and for mentorship and for, you know, Mom, I don't know what to do. And I just want him to focus on the game and how he feels. So making sure that, you know, as far as eligibility, it's a whole kind of crazy thing as far as the Ontario Hockey League and whether you were playing there, keeping your NCAA eligibility open by, you know, watching the number of hours that you're attending a camp or doing certain things and not accepting gifts. And the NCAA is very, very strict in their rules. Not it doesn't so much go the other way, but that might be changing in the next couple of years. It might be a little bit more easier for them to make decisions and have the access to as many things as they can. But yeah, just, you know, supporting them in so many ways, like any parent was wanting to do, and you just want your kids to succeed. Pick them up when they're down, grind them when they need a little kick in the butt. But yeah, just staying informed and asking the questions and reaching out to people for sure. And just being that support system for him, for them.
And being the driver.
The driver, the cook, washing the laundry, making sure we're looking at writing on the calendar on the fridge and who's going where, when, and all that kind of stuff. Know. Yeah, absolutely. I'm knowing that you do.
Right? We all know. So, Camden, we love to have our athletes end with a shout out to somebody, but it can be more than one somebody, who supported you in your sport. So lots of athletes shout out more than one person. So you've had lots of support in hockey, we know that.
Yeah, definitely.
So who would be some shout outs that you'd give?
I mean, obviously my parents have to be my first shout out. Obviously, you know, ones. Like you said, they drive you to the rink every day. They're there to buy sticks.
Oh God, help me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're there through the ups and downs, and at the end of the day, they're the people that you go back to if you've had a rough day or anything. So obviously my parents, and then just everyone, all the coaches I've had, all the trainers that I've had to get me to this point. I gotta thank all of them, because without them I wouldn't be where I am today. And so all my parents, or all my parents.
All of them.
All of them, all two
My
of them.
parents, my parents, and all my coaches and staff and trainers. So, yeah, it's been a long journey up to this point, and it's going to be just the start of a new one. So, looking forward to turn the page of the chapter. So,
Awesome.
Here we go.
What a great way to end. So as usual, we went over time. That's what we do. Anyway, big thank you to both of you for joining us, and you got a bright future ahead of you, Ken and O'Neill.
Thank you very much.
We're excited to watch.
And we're excited to watch. We won't know what you're doing on the ice, but we're going to watch you.
We'll say we knew you, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best part. He'll be playing in our own backyard. So
Yeah.
we might have to see him go for a couple of years somewhere, but he'll be back for 4.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And thanks for sharing your parent perspective, Jamie-Lynn. 'cause-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks so
it's,
much for having us.
All right, thank you
there's
for
so
having
much
us.
to take into account, for sure. So thank you so much. Best of luck. And that's it. We're done this episode on Making It to Varsity.
Thank you.